Hey there, welcome back to Tips Over Tea. I am Nicole, your host. I am so excited to introduce you to Debbie today. We are going to talk about stepping into your creator frequency. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, how about you just go ahead and grab your tea, grab a notebook, grab your friend, and listen in and find out how you can step into your creator frequency. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tips Over Tea. I am so excited to introduce you to Debbie. She's an empowerment coach, and good grief, we could use that. Welcome, Debbie. I'm so glad you get a chance to speak with us today.
Nikki, thank you so much for inviting me. I enjoy our conversations all of the time, and today I'm just really excited about.
Oh, good. I'm glad. And I tell you what, people are in for a real treat. So now we were talking a little bit before I hit record, and you said something that caught my ear, and you're talking about stepping into the creator frequency. And I just love the way those words flow together. I would love for you to explain what does that mean exactly, and how can we start to shift into that mood?
Okay, so I was just quickly changing my background, so I didn't have any noise. So I apologize for that if I
No
was.
worries.
But that stepping into your I am creator frequency, for me, that's the ultimate, right?
Mhm.
When we are stepping into that, we're taking our power back. We're realizing that we create our reality. And I believe that we have to raise our consciousness and our frequency, our vibration, in order to come from that place of empowerment where you see solutions instead of problems, where you see the good in every situation. And so I always invite everybody to step into that frequency and take back your power and just go for the life that you really want.
I love that. That seems like such a scary thing because it's something that's most people are not taught, right? And we figure this out as we get older, and we're like, and then we're wondering like, what does that mean? What does it look like? And a lot of times we get bent around like, how should it look instead of creating our own. What are some of the challenges some of your clients have faced with
Well,
doing
interesting enough that you brought that up, that it can feel scary. So with me, it's all about recognizing what is the emotion you have and
that?
is it the emotion you want to have. So
Mhm.
for me, I was running away from my emotions. I didn't actually even know that I had emotions, but I was just distracting myself from busyness. So a lot of my clients actually come to me. So we sit down and we will talk about, what are you feeling? And they're like, I actually feel numb, right? That's a first clue that you're just running away from your emotions. So once we go through a whole list of things like, what are you feeling? What do you want to feel? We eventually start that new habit of like instantly going to the want or the desire versus what is it I'm running away from. And the saying is what we focus on grows. So not from that disempowered state, because when I first started this whole conversation, people would be like, then I'm to blame for all the bad that happens to me, right? I focused on it, therefore I'm creating it, therefore so it's a different I am creator frequency, knowing that you can choose your thoughts, you can choose your reality. And if you're running up against a struggle, or that triggered response that you're not really liking, like I went right to anger right away, I went right to fear or jealousy, and I don't like that, then you just step back and you're like, wow, I'm in response mode, reaction mode, and I have to up my frequency so I can see there's another perspective, there's a different meaning that I'm not seeing from this state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I share a lot when we're like frustrated or angry or any emotion like that that's like fight or flight, like your thinking brain is not engaged at all. Your survival mode brain is like, what are we going to do to survive? Let's do it. So I appreciate that you shared that. How have you helped people like start to break that habit? Because it is such a habit to respond a certain way. So how do you, and I guess starting to notice it, but how do you like step yourself out of that response habit first? Or how do you?
Yeah, so really interesting that I actually do it through a 60-second reset. So first of all, it's about, yes, your limbic system is locked up into that response. So you have to catch yourself. you're not aware of something you're not aware of. So
Mhm.
until you have a coach or somebody that's helping you recognize that it's a triggered response, it's something that was keeping you safe at some point in your life. So awareness is always key. And to create the new habit, we have to surround ourselves with people that will help you see that, right? We can't see our blind spots. We just can't. So the 60-second reset is all about stopping. I'm aware of it. What's the negative chatter happening in my brain? Because something's telling you, like, run, or you did this again. Why is this continually happening? You're a loser, right? Like, be honest with what's the negative chatter happening. And then where in your body are you feeling it? Because for me, all of our emotions are either stored and locked in our body. The more we've distracted ourselves and shoved them down, the more they're in our body, or they're trying to process through our body. And so this is the 60-second reset is a way of making sure they don't get locked. They just continue flowing through. So where in your body are you feeling it? And then I have a breathing technique and essential oil technique that helps unlock the limbic system, the nervous system, and take you through that process to continue on. And so if people are having these triggered reactions quite often, then we need to do a full session, not just a 60-second. The 60-second is great for not letting something get locked in your body. And then the full session is for unlocking all of the things that over years have been stuffed down.
I love that. I love that, especially in knowing when things get locked in, they create havoc. And the crazy thing is, it doesn't show up until like years later, typically, right? Like after pushing and pushing down and pushing down, and all of a sudden you have a chronic condition. And you're like, I don't even know where that started. Like even those who eat healthy or who have a relatively healthy lifestyle, they can still experience some type of illness, physical or neurological or anything like that, because they haven't allowed things to process. So I love that you have the ability to keep from putting more stuff on while you're unsticking the old stuff that we did not process before. I love that, Deb.
And I really help my clients understand that it's not a blame or shame. As soon as you're in a frequency of, so I always call it love or above. So that's where your average should be, right? You should be in that love or above where you're brisk, you're thankful, you're grateful, you see the good in the world, but you can dip down when something happens. And so if you're in blame or shame or guilt, you're really low on the frequency scale, and not from a judgment. We're not judging anybody. We're just recognizing and observing where we are so we can choose to raise our frequency back up past love. And the higher you are, the more opportunities you see in the life, the more flow you have in your life, the more good things happen. But Nikki, you know yourself, is that we're forever evolving. So we can get up into the highest frequency, everything's happening, flow is amazing, and something will happen that's inviting us to go deeper and become a master of what we are teaching. And we live what we're teaching. It's a never-ending journey. And again, the key to that is no judgment.
Yep.
Judgment of self, no judgment of others, just really observing where we're at so that we can choose from that empowered state.
Absolutely. Acceptance, like not wishing something was, that is a disempowered state, like accepting where you are and like, what am I going to do next?
Yeah. And Nikki, like for some people, acceptance means different things. And for some people, for me and you, I heard it as acceptance is like, stop struggling against it. Don't resist it. Just accept it. But then from acceptance state, choosing where you really want to go. For some people, they hear acceptance and they're like couch potato. Okay, I don't have to do anything. I just have to accept the way it is. Well, your body is always asking you to come back into alignment. Your heart and your soul, you have an inner message, a calling. And so that resistance is there for a reason. It's telling you to get off the couch and go do something because your heart and soul is whispering to you and you haven't been listening. So that pain or discomfort or resistance shows up because we're being invited to go deeper.
I love that. I love that correction, or that
redirection.
Yes.
Not a correction. You are absolutely right. want to make sure the audience understands it's not permission to stay stuck in a place you don't like being.
Yes, love that. Thank you. I really appreciate that articulation. That's cool. So when I imagine when you have clients, they always need to do like a deeper session, but how, because sometimes like people are afraid to address those deeper things. So how do you help them come to a place where they realize it's a safe place to be able to, they can make it through dealing with those things? Because that's what I get a lot. Like people are afraid to deal with those emotions. They don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so I really love this question, because for somebody that was running away from her emotions and I didn't even know, I'm very aware of that with my clients. And so first of all, it's starting a relationship, which everything is, any coach, anybody else, is you have to have a relationship with people. So I have a lot of free ways for people to connect and feel my heart. And I always say that my soul knew your soul long before we ever met. And so it's been calling out for me, and it's you finally accepted the invitation. So once we have this connection, then it's a beautiful thing. And all of a sudden, one day you're going to hear something and you're going to go, it's time. And that's always the time, the perfect time. So I never judge myself on when my clients come or how they show up. I wake up every morning in gratitude, and it's with this awe and wonder of who am I meant to serve today. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, because it's like opening up that invitation. And I've had people from India, Africa, all over the world that have found me, and I'll say, how did you find me? And it's, every story is unique and beautiful, but it starts with just nourishing that relationship. And then, some people will come right directly into the session. Other people will start with something that's free so that we can have a conversation and talk more about like just planting the seeds of what do emotions really mean, and not to judge them. So I do a simple exercise of, taking out a piece of paper and drawing a line on it and saying, what are the emotions you never want to feel again? Like, just like when you're in them. And then what are the ones that you really want? And then we say, I am love. I am peace. I am gratitude. That's truly stepping in and embodying those emotions.
I love that. And I do want to, because as you pointed that out, like, one, don't feel guilty for having the emotions that you don't want to have. It's part of the human experience. There's nothing wrong with that. They're just pointers. They're messages. And two, like you said earlier, we're always evolving. So if you got to a high state frequency and you had that emotion that you said, I don't want to have again, it's just because that's life. And there's another message. There's another layer to address.
I love it, Nikki. I always tell my clients or my friends, because I really do feel like everybody is a client, a friend, and eventually somebody you collaborate with. So I always tell them that, a gas gauge in a vehicle is telling you when it's running on empty. And we never hate the vehicle because it's running out of gas. When our emotions go from where we want them to be over to a place that's pointing at something that needs gas or fixed, not fixed in the way you're broken, but let's replace it, then let's not judge that. Let's just say, wow, I'm feeling angry today. What is that about? And as an energy healer, I do have to just say that we also have to step into our power by asking, is that mine? Every time you're feeling an emotion, it's yours. Sometimes as an empath, you're actually picking up on somebody else's emotion. So always check in first if it is even yours, and then start to ask empowering questions like, what is this about? Where is this at in my body? Recognizing it.
Oh my goodness. I love both of those things. Like, people who are not familiar with the concept of empath, I hope they hear that like loud and clearly. Like, if they like, because before I even realized what empath was, and I would just experience like seemingly random emotions. I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. I was fine earlier. So if you, as a viewer, notice that happens to you, like it doesn't make sense, then that would be a great question to ask. Is this even mine? And I also loved the questions that you asked just now too. They are empowering, and because a lot of times people will ask why, and I feel like why questions will send you in a spiral, because they can quickly and easily become things happening to you, as opposed to you taking control over whatever is going on, your emotions and things and your thoughts. So I love those empowering what questions. And you know, there was something else you said too.
And I'm trying to remember what I said also.
Yeah,
like, now I have it, right?
yeah.
So again, it just over time you change your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I wanted to come back to, Nikki, that you spoke about, because you said, well, people will often be in fear of bringing up those emotions, and what's that going to look like?
Mm-hmm.
In the session that I do, I've taken many people that have had very, very traumatic experiences. We can talk rape, we can talk, beatings. It doesn't matter, because that's not what this is about. But this is traumatic and they don't want to relive it.
Right.
And through this session, it's so gentle. Mm-hmm. And the limbic system really does unlock, and then something in your own heart and soul, your inner wisdom, comes out. There's a new perspective, something you missed when your limbic system shut down and wouldn't let you finish it. So sometimes we even see things or hear things that didn't actually happen, until our heart and soul can let us see it from a different direction. And so not only do you leave the session, the memory doesn't go away. It's not brainwashing or that, but there's no electrical charge to it anymore. It's like you can tell the story and you're fully healed from it. And that's from that point, and we are layers of an onion. So from that point, that particular energy is free. Mm-hmm. And then there might have been another layer of the same emotion stuck somewhere else. But we follow the energy in our body and we release it from whatever body part it is. Mm-hmm. And what's really cool about it is that, and you've kind of alluded to it, is that where it's at in our body is often where associated to the emotion. Mm-hmm. So our back, we often, feel abandoned or not supported. In our lives, we have grief of some type. So there's so many other things that I can guide and facilitate my clients through just by having this session and seeing and following the energy, and of course the intuition of being able to see and hear what they aren't even quite ready to see and hear, mm-hmm. and guide them. So I hope that helped. I didn't go too deep in that.
No, that was really good. I appreciate that. I would like you to, I understand what limbic system is, but if you can elaborate on that a little bit for anyone who doesn't understand exactly what limbic system is.
Okay, so really, I'm going to keep it really simple.
Yes,
too.
Yeah.
You're in your brain, you have the big brain and the little brain. And so the little brain is, here, little here. And right in here is the limbic system, where it is the fight or flight response. Mm-hmm. And so what some people will call it is the primitive brain, or the non-really logical brain. It only was there to keep us safe, tell us when to run, all that type of thing. And so if it gets locked up, and so it's kind of like your brake and your gas are on at the same time, you're going full speed, you're going nowhere. You have people that really swirl in overwhelm and exhaustion, because that's exhausting to have the brake and the gas on at both times. So eventually you'll actually have adrenal fatigue, and there'll be other mental things that will happen. And unfortunately, no, I'm going to turn it the other way. Fortunately, there's enough of people like me and you that study this. Mm-hmm. And so we're now recognizing it, and it's not something that needs to have a pill to be fixed. Mm-hmm. So we're coming a long ways, and yet we're even going deeper and faster in this whole process. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with you if your limbic system is locked up. It's kind of just like a little bit of a switch that needs to be reconnected. And your nervous system is trying to work for you at all times. That's its job, is to come back into balance and harmony.
Yeah.
And when it's not, and we start having pain or discomfort or disease, or our mind is swirling in anxiety or whatever, then it's just an invite to reset. Just reset our bodies and our limbic systems and all the other. Did that help?
Yes, absolutely. And I love that. It reminds me of something I was going to say earlier that fell out of my head. When we were talking about when we start experiencing certain sensations in our body, and emotions and things like that as messengers, if we could remember to thank our body for the message, right? Like, thank you so much for bringing to my awareness that something needs to be addressed or looked at. Because like you said, with awareness, that's when you can actually do something about whatever it is, if you want to change it.
I love that. My body got full chills when you said that. And again, it comes back to that gratitude. We always need to thank ourselves for choosing differently. And from that empowered place is thank you for that awareness. I mean, that was beautiful. Thank you for reminding me to say thank you more often.
You're welcome. I do that especially if I have like a headache or I'm tired or something like that. I'm like, touche, thank you.
Oh, yes.
So I love that. And I appreciate that explanation of the limbic system. I can geek out about that stuff all day.
Me too. But the first time I heard it, and that's what's interesting about it, is that, we come in, my whole journey started with my body shutting down, and the doctors couldn't figure it out. I was a nurse. I was fully into the old way of doing things, but I couldn't take pills. So pills made me sick. And I did not want to live feeling like I was going to throw up all the time, or like I was, stoned, and it didn't matter what kind of pills. It was my body's way of saying there's another way. There is another way. You have to figure it out. And so I found this journey, and the empowering questions is like, not why is this happening to me, but what is this teaching me? Like, and it was just like following the breadcrumbs. And honestly, when you finally find something and your body goes, yes, there's something here, and you continue to follow that journey, that's from an empowered state. And that's you listening, tapping into your highest wisdom. And we all have it. And when you start asking yourselves or saying things like, I don't know, then you just change it and go, what if I did know? And from that empowered state, you're more curious. You've turned on this, I'm willing to learn part of you, and you're willing to let go of the old paradigms and the old beliefs and habits. And as you are doing that, you're inviting your body to bring them up and show them to you. And you do that, then when they're shown to you, the awareness point, then it's a choice. And you get to decide whether you keep that belief or you replace it with a new belief. And it just continues to evolve until all of a sudden you're geeking out over how to your brain and why certain essential oils work and other ones, and you just go deeper and deeper down this road. And I love it. I have more energy now than I ever did when I was in overwhelm and frustration and fear and all the emotions.
I love that. We'll have to do another call with you on the essential oils piece and more about your story and how you got started, because I can imagine shifting from the medical field, which is fix everything, like I'm the expert of you, your body, to you becoming the expert and teaching people how that they are the expert of their bodies and their minds.
Thank you for summarizing that very well. And again, guys, we are being invited right now through the universe, whatever you believe in, to really look at our belief systems and the bigger systems, schools, hospitals, all the things. If it's not working, it's not bash it. It's what can you do to change it? And anything is possible. My dream when I started this, that essential oils would end up in emergency wards and ambulances and places where instead of giving them a shot of morphine, that we could calm their nervous system down. And it's happening.
I love it.
It's happening.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to do another call. I love that. I was not aware that they are. I mean, I know like in Europe, they're more open to alternative ways in the hospitals. But and you're in Canada, so
Yes.
we'll have to do another call on that. So I love it. Thank you for just bringing that into my and our audience awareness. Um, there was something I was going to say in relation to what you were saying, but it escapes me at the moment, which is fine. But I will say, because time has flown by somehow, I blame you. A good conversation. Um, I'd love to use this point of the conversation to invite my guests to share if they have anything specifically that they would like to invite the viewers to, like a group or a workshop or anything like that. Please feel free to share.
Yeah, thank you, Nikki. That's so generous. And really what I'm going to say is I invite you into the Empowering You community with Debbie Prediger. And it's my private Facebook group. It's private because I want you to feel safe when you get in there, that anybody in there is not there selling you something. They are cultivating relationships where we're a community that lifts each other up. And so for that, I invite anybody into that feels that they either need empowerment or they do empower others. Those are the two things that you must be. And then, of course, you can just message me on Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse, all of the places. It's Debbie Prediger. And of course, you'll put the links in there. I do a ton of free stuff and the events and of course, lots of different programs that keep evolving. So the program might be a workshop that starts with that awareness thing. You might be like, I don't even know what emotions are. We're going to go through just a little bit of empowerment of choices. And then we do 8-week programs, we do 12-week programs, we do intensive healing weekends, do retreat type of weekends. So there's a lot of different things that I do, and it's all about what you need. It's whatever somebody is coming to me for. I often see it in patterns. I often see it like, for a whole month, I'm seeing the same question happen over and over again. So I am all about listening to my intuition. I'm no longer blocking that out. I'm using it to my full advantage.
Yeah.
In my Empowering You circles, which are Monday morning. Right now they're paused. They'll come back. They're all about, like, I literally sit in meditation before, and what does the circle need to hear? And then we will go through this theme, and it's always, we'll start with what is the emotion you're bringing today, practicing that awareness, practicing accepting what you are first before you choose something different. When we do it from the disempowered place, we are distracting ourselves from it. We have to acknowledge it first, accept it as truth, and then choose to step into a different emotion.
That's important because a lot of times the question I'll get is, what's the difference between suppressing and actually, like, because you choose, like, you allow yourself to feel that emotion, like so there has been, like, so that empowerment state is the difference between suppressing and ignoring and versus just allowing it to process through. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's my mantra: open and allow, open and allow. Sit in that open state, because when we're resisting anything, our first clue to resistance is that we're pushing or pulling. We're forcing, and often you can get yourself in such a struggle that it's literally like you're pushing a boulder up the hill. So if you're working really hard and nothing's seeming to fall into place, step back, look at it from an empowered point and go, where am I just pushing through something instead of seeing it? We have to acknowledge the bully in the room before we can choose differently.
I love it. I love it. And I remember what I was going to say earlier, the concept of when someone happens upon this video, and it's that how, when with you too, like how people, when they engage with you before they really engage with you. So it's like when things will fall into place, you'll hear it when you're supposed to hear it. You'll reach out, you'll hear the right voice. And that's really the point of this whole channel. I want people to hear the voice that they've been looking for. So I appreciate it.
100% agree. Don't judge yourself for not being able to fully receive it today, because today might have been the day you were just supposed to open the door of possible.
Mhm. Yes, yes. I love it. I consider myself the seed planter a lot. I'm like, I'll plant the seed, somebody else can water it, and who knows, they'll come back and I'll finish helping it grow. Who knows? But I do not mind being a messenger. So I love it. Thank you so much for what you do for the world, and just this wonderful conversation. It was great having you here on the show. You will have to come back.
I would love to come back. I really do value our friendship, and I'd love to collaborate with you on something, because we speak the same language. It's so simple for us to have a conversation because we truly live it. And the other part of it is thank you for what you're doing in the world. It's very needed.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. It is time. How in the world? So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. If you caught this live, even if you're catching it afterwards, it's still a lot of great nuggets in there. Debbie is amazing. Her information, of course, will be in the description, so you can reach out to her at any time. Join the community. You'll see me in there from time to time as well. And with that said, I just wish you the absolute best. Create the best life, because you are in control of doing that. So thank you so much, Debbie. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks again for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the bell so you'll be notified anytime we upload a new video or go live. And as always, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to post it in the comments. We're always checking that. In the meantime, have a great